They're so like simple, but they're so pretty.
Yeah, these ones are very pretty.
They're gorgeous. I just, I just want to have them on my bookshelf.
We got
I
our
just,
copies of the hardbacks, and if you take the dust jacket off, they're even prettier. But we're kind of saving that for a little bit of marketing later on.
hey,
So I shouldn't go get my copies and show them off right now, real quick, because they're
I
in
mean,
arm's
you
reach.
can.
Okay, they're in
I
arm's reach.
mean, I'm always down to clown when it comes to book covers. I will never not say no to seeing a pretty book cover.
I'm just gonna crawl in and out of screen randomly, I guess.
That's okay.
Yeah. So
Ooh. So pretty.
I'm just tossing the dust jackets. I'll find them in a bit, and then
Oh, that one's my fave.
this one's
The green is so pretty.
it is, and then
That one's my favorite.
So,
the cup on that one. Yeah, and then
ooh. Ooh. Okay.
I know.
I'll be pre-ordering those.
Well, thank you.
They're so pretty.
I don't know what's if you are looking to pre-order them. I do know that our the Four Horsemen HP is doing a sale right now. So
30% off through the end of May. So
Don't tempt me with a good time. I get paid tomorrow.
ooh.
Stop it. Stop it, guys. I already have so many books.
that is a very good problem to have that I think most of us have.
I
Yes.
could show you my bookshelf.
Look, I have sufficiently run out of space on my shelves. And so now the books are just kind of like haphazardly like stacked, like
Yeah,
on top of each other and like on the shelves.
I, the cedar chest that's over there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Eventually, when I get a house and I'm not working and my um dining room is not my library slash office, when I get a house, I'll have like a whole bedroom that is my library slash office. My dream is to have said room with built-in shelves,
That would be
yeah,
great.
yeah.
right? That's the dream. But alas, the housing market has not crashed yet.
No,
So I cannot buy a house yet.
I'm a millennial, so I don't ever hope to own a house, but
I'm
see,
also a millennial, but I my parents have owned our like their house for like basically like my whole life. So that's always been like a goal of mine. And I've got two cats and I would like for them to have places to roam that is not my living room and my bedroom and bothering me.
despite a few things, I could. I found some houses in my price range because I wouldn't mind one for my kid and I. But then I look at the interest rates and go, "This is never
Bro,
happening."
not right
bro,
now.
No,
no. I'm just
when even as high as I can get my credit score, it's still like 8%. No,
Hmm.
yeah.
no, no, no.
It's all a trap. I was like looking because like I live in an apartment right now, obviously, and I was like, maybe I should just move into a two-bedroom apartment.
That's what I did, and like the extra space is worth it. And it was like $10 more a month than a one bedroom, and I was like, might as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I might do that because honestly, my books are just my sister is I live on the second floor and she's like, I'm so worried about the structure of your apartment. I'm like, that's the weirdest thing to be worried about in my apartment is if it's structurally sound because I have all of these books. I'm sure there's been a lot heavier things in these apartments than my
Mhm.
books. So like I feel like that's a weird thing to be worried about, but who am I? But I'm trying to be good about my book buying because I've got 2 book trips this year that I'm going on. So like I'm trying to be like good and save money. Is that working? No. But we are trying.
I just have to remember to stay off Kickstarter sometimes.
I have to stay out of half price books.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Barnes and Noble too,
Books a
and
Million also.
any indie bookstore.
Yeah. And then there's a website called Book Outlet.
Oh no,
And
no, no!
yeah, dude,
I don't.
like,
Do that one. I don't mind Book Outlet. I mind the fact that half the books I ordered from there came damaged.
oh no.
No, or yeah, like they're all kind of damaged, and I was like, no.
Oh, that sucks. I've never had a problem with Book Outlet. I've only ordered from them like a couple of times though. So, I mean, but like, whenever I do, it's like those big like bulk orders where they're like, all our books are $5. And I'm like, okay,
Yep, that's
buys
how they get.
$1,000 worth of books.
Well, I'm I'm weird about my books. Like all the ones behind me, I've read the majority of my physical books. A good, not all of them, but a majority. And this is still the one that looks like I've actually read it, and it's still in good shape because the amount of times I'm like, all right, I need to find something in here. They like you can't even tell some of these I've opened. They're just, but I
I
have.
am I am completely the opposite. I have to get like 2 copies of every book that I have because my reading copy will look like I kicked it into the ocean or the sandbox, ran over it a few times. It was
This
well loved during that period, though.
I have one book that looks like I've really read it. And all of these I've read multiple times, especially like my Princess Bride copies and stuff. But for
Oh,
some reason, my 10th Kingdom copy, this one's yellow. It's falling apart.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
oh,
Like
dude,
these fall out. These
the
just fall
I
out.
think it's like something with like the smaller books because I have a few small books, and I think a lot of small books are like that. I just don't think their spines are very strong.
This was one of those mass market paperbacks from when the miniseries came out, and now
Hmm.
all the images just right.
Oh
My
man.
my most beat up book that's not that one is still going to be our first book.
Hey, that just shows that it can stand the test of time, okay? And that is what any reader wants, is for their books to always look pretty on their shelves. Always.
Absolutely. That's why I buy 2 copies.
See, you have the one that you actually read, and then you have one that's for show.
That's
See,
right.
I
what do you
understand. That's just like people who like they read them on their Kindle and then they buy the physical copy so they can have the physical copy on the shelf. I'm like, I get it. I
I've done
understand.
that. I've done that
I've been there. Been there
because
before.
for me, it's like if I really liked the book on Kindle, then I really need the physical copy because I don't know if I'm going to keep up my Kindle subscription and stuff.
That's
Or
fair.
what if one day Amazon just, I don't know, ceases to exist? Never happened, but you never know.
That
My
would be
Kindle doesn't allow
crazy.
me to update anymore, so I have to get a new e-reader.
Ooh. Which Kindle do you have?
I don't know, but they basically said this is so old we're not supporting it anymore and you can't download anything else on
I'm crying. That's crazy.
Go back on the shelf.
I have the Kindle. My mom bought me a Kindle Paperwhite like 10 years ago, and we're still rocking like
Oh,
10
mine's
years
much
later.
older.
I have I have like an OG Kindle that's like just like small and gray. Like it's laying around this house somewhere. But it's literally like so old, and I was gonna give it to my niece because she likes to read. Well, she liked to read at one point, and she doesn't like to read anymore. So it just kind of like I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep it, I guess. So it's just like I've just got like one like permanently dead Kindle and one that's like mostly charged most of the time. It depends on if I'm having like I'm reading on my Kindle or if I'm reading on in like reading a physical book phase.
Mhm.
We're in our physical book phase right now because so many physical books. So, and if I'm
And there's
reading a
something,
series, I have to have the physical books.
well, there's something about having a physical book, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just it hits different.
Oh,
It
100%.
does. like as much as I like my Kindle, I got my first Kindle for Christmas last year. So as much as I like having that, I still will randomly just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pull out a
Yeah,
book.
no, that's me. But I'm so weird about like so like if I found like like an author that like on Kindle, like for some reason if I go into a store, I like can't buy the physical book for that author like because I found them on Kindle. And so now I feel like I only need to read them on Kindle. Like that sounds weird, but it's like
No, it's not weird. It's not weird. I have a couple books behind me that I actually have on Audible, and I can't read the book now because I'm so used to hearing the narrator, like Butcher and Blackbird,
mm-hmm.
and like that whole series, that whole trilogy. Like I loved the narration for it, so it's like I may have Butcher and Blackbird, but I'm probably never going to read that copy.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I know.
And I only got it from one of my book subscriptions. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it.
What I mean, okay, so you have like a book like subscription like box that comes to you. Like is
Yes.
that what's that is that worth the dollar bills that you shell out every month?
Well, okay. It it's a little questionable now because I do the bookish box. And
Gotcha.
before you got a really good special edition, and I'll be honest, I like the special editions I get there. Now, it's possible that the Fairy Loot subscription box is better than if you buy the Fairy Loot books separately, because I bought a couple of books from them. But I wasn't as overly impressed with them as I have been with Bookish Box's books, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But before, you paid like not even $60 and you got a box with goodies. Well, they've taken away the goodies and now you're only paying like 35, $40.
Mhm.
But I miss the goodies because the goodies were those were fun and some of yeah, those were fun. But I can't say that the books themselves aren't worth it.
Oh shit. And we have an example.
Like I'm really into the way they did this.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the sprayed edges are really pretty. And they may be taking author suggestions for upcoming book boxes, and I may have dropped a link for the Visetra series.
Very
But
pretty.
they're gorgeous, and I may have sent them a hey, you want to talk to 4HP and get our book in a subscription box because I'd love for
Period.
something like this.
That's oh my friend read Butcher. I couldn't get into Butcher and Blackbird. I tried to read it and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. Like I I couldn't do it.
It you
Okay,
have
so if you're, go ahead. I was
no
going to
go,
say, if
go.
you're friends with Kate, like, you don't have to buy or read any of the books that she reads because she will
Oh.
tell you every detail. And
I'm
then,
off.
like, we've had several conversations where I'm like, stop, stop, stop. Now I don't want to read it because I know everything that happens. Thank you.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Butcher and Blackbird, you have to is the worst of the series if that helps in terms of food-based trauma.
Got you.
And it's easier to listen to than it is to read.
Gotcha.
And you have to look at it as a meet cute with serial killers because that's really what it is.
Look, my friend read it and she was we worked together and she was gone and she had like left it at her desk. And so I was like, "Oh, let me like start reading this a little bit." And then I was like, "Yeah, no, I can't do that." And I mean, and it's not like she didn't tell me again, like she's one of those friends that like she's like, "Are you gonna read this?" And I'm like, ah, "Probably not." Like it doesn't sound like something I would read. And then so she just like gives me the whole like she just read all of the housemaid books and she told me every single thing that happened in the whole like and I mean, was I there for the dramatic retelling? Absolutely, because I was like, they did what, girl, for real? That's crazy. What? But like, yeah, I've got a friend like that too. We don't read, we read a lot of the same books, but she's more of a branch or outer reader than I am. So, I'll learn a lot about like murdery, like serial killers falling in love and stuff like that.
I honestly don't read a lot of those. What's considered dark romance. I've got a few. Somehow I have a special edition copy of The Ritual, and I have no idea where that came from, and I'm never going to read that. I also was gifted a special edition. Oh gosh, what's the name of it? The one that everybody talks about. That's like the up there dark romance book, and I can't think of the name of it.
Are you talking about
Uh,
Haunting Adeline?
yes, I have a special edition of that too. I have no idea. I'm never going to read it. Nope, it's just going to stay over
Don't
there.
read it. Don't read it. It's a trap. It's a
Yeah,
trap.
I've heard a lot about that one, specifically one scene that makes me go, mm-mm. And then our beta reader read it and had to actually put it down, and she reads everything. So the minute she said, mm-mm, nope, Kayla, the minute Kayla put a book down, I'm like, oh, nope, I'm never touching that one.
I literally read like I really tried to power through it because my friends were like, Johnny, you would love it. You love a good dark romance, blah blah blah, whatever. And the female main character, she just made me upset. She was so dumb. I was like, you're literally the dumbest person I've ever met in my life, and I don't understand what's going on. Like, why are you doing this to me? So I like stopped reading at like I don't know, I think it was like 10 chapters in, and I was like, I'm done. I quit. I don't want to do this anymore.
You just have to like. I'm into cozy mysteries, and yeah, I know that sounds really weird, but I'm still into cozy mysteries.
I love a good cozy mystery, okay? Excuse me.
Manners and Monsters. That series is, I really love it, but
Another one I can't read.
but the main male character needs to get bashed over the head with a candelabra and be done and find somebody else. Thank you. That's my only complaint is every time I think he's getting better, he doubles down, and I'm like, could we get somebody else? It's like at least Farron redeems himself for his stupid. Farron redeems himself for his stupid. Wycliffe is never going to redeem himself from his stupid. But Farron does. Farron is really stupid in our books, isn't he, sometimes?
He
You
is.
know, I feel like a lot of male main characters in books are a little dumb. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, they're men, you know, so like okay, we've been talking I don't know how long we've been talking. So like I um for anybody who's been listening or watching and you don't know who I'm talking to or what the hell's going on, I am talking to the authors, Kate Jenkins and Morgan Moreau. Thanks for coming on Booking It with me. Uh, they are the authors of the Legends of Corellia series and the soon-to-be Visetra series coming out in August, I think I wrote down. The first book will be out in August, and the last book, I'm guessing, book 4 of the Corellia series just came out, right?
Yes.
Well, it's the latest one, but we have 2 more in the series.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
5 will be out in December.
Oh, goodness.
We just got the cover for that one too.
I love
But
that
that's
cover. So pretty. I just want to touch all like I just want to
they're not shiny, they're matted too, so I'm actually all for that.
I just love, I don't know. There's just something about touching like a nice, I don't know.
No,
It's so weird.
Nope, I get it.
Like a text, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just have like a lot of things about books, you know?
But the hardback for the Mark Queen, take away the words and it's just her on the cover. I can go grab that one too. It's right over there.
It's over there.
Yeah, I love the covers for this series.
Yeah, they're beautiful. All your guys' covers that I saw on your website and that I'm seeing right now in front of my face are gorgeous. And whoever does your covers does an amazing job, 10 out of 10. If I ever finished writing a book, I would want to call them and be like, please make me a pretty cover like this.
The people at our publisher, Four Horsemen Publications, put it together. I don't know the name of the person who actually does it, but all of these are done by our publisher.
Nice, nice, nice. We love shout out to Four Horsemen Publishing. We love those guys.
We do a lot.
Yes, we love Four Horsemen. So since your fourth book of the Legends of Corellia series just came out, give me a sy- is give me a synopsis of the Legends of Corellia series. Are they all like standalones? Are they interconnected standalones? Are they all connected? Like, what's the deal with that?
Well, why don't you do the quick synopsis, Kate, because you're the best at it, and then we can talk about it.
Actually awful at talking about our books, which is hilarious, and I think she loves that because the amount of weird takes I've accidentally given for our book. But basically, the Legends of Corellia series is a character driven fantasy with romance and political intrigue about a queen who's doing everything she can to keep her kingdom together, to make it better, and to fix what her father, who was not a good person, did, and the nobles who are willing to do anything to keep the status quo. They will go to any lengths to stop her. Now, if you want a quick rundown of the books, I'm just going to grab these off the shelf. Introduction book, which introduces you to our main character, Colette, as well as a lot of the large cast of characters that we have. And this sets the scene for what happens. And it does. Oh,
I was going to say, this is not a spoiler because it's on the blurb. She gets overthrown at the end of the first book. And so the rest of this series is following her adventures, trying to reclaim her throne.
Ooh, that's tea.
Yeah. And so they're all, interconnected. They follow right after the other. And the way we're viewing the series is sort of like a TV series in that this is season one of the series, the first six books. And we have plans for things that happen in later seasons. And then the Visetra series is in the same universe, but it takes place 30 years prior.
And
Oh, okay.
in fact, we actually released the books the way we are for a particular reason. Book 4 just came out.
Mhm.
In book 4, you are introduced to Farron and Sabine, who are the main characters for the Visetra series that takes place 30 years prior. So you get to
Gotcha.
meet the characters and at least have an idea of who they are before going into their actual story.
Gotcha. 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 Okay. 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 That's cool. Sorry, my brain was like computing like, okay, like these things like so it's kind of like Star Wars a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
You know what? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, I get it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I mean like, with like the prequel thing, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it.
Yep.
I got it. We're
Um,
I have
we're already
arrived.
we're already discussing whether when we're done with the last book of the Corellia, which we're working on right now,
Mhm.
whether we're going to go back to Farron and Sabine, taking the place right after the when book 6 ends. It's going to be maybe a couple months after, and we're going back to Farron and Sabine, or if we're going to move into season 2 of Legends of Corellia, where Orion manages to screw everything up. Then he's not the
Okay.
character you ever expect to screw anything up because he's usually the calm, level-headed one until you
Ah,
get to book 5.
until you get to book 5 where he starts messing everything up.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't mess anything up in book 5.
Okay.
He encourages things in book 5. What do you think, Morgan? Does he encourage things in book 5?
Well, I would just say that Orion spends the first four books being very upset because he can't make Colette behave. And then in book five, he encourages her to not behave. So,
He at some point he literally says, "Do not put yourself in danger again without at least asking me first."
so she
In
does. And he says, go ahead.
no, she doesn't even ask. He just takes one look at her and goes, "You want to do this?" She goes, "Yes," and he goes, "Have fun."
That's wild. So is he like her love interest? No?
No.
No?
Um,
Okay, I'm sorry. Go, you explain it. You explain
so
this.
he is like, he's a mercenary in the book. And
Cool.
Yeah, not spoiling anything because it's on the blurb. But he and the other two mercenaries in the series are introduced in book one of Legends of Corellia. And they are in Corellia because they are either going to kill the queen if she turns out to be like her father, or they are going to help put down the protests that are rising up against her from the old guard. Um, and so they have sort of a really tumultuous relationship for the first two or three books, and then they start becoming friends. And by the end, they're basically chosen brother and sister, and that's how they refer to one another. Now, that said, when we only had the first book out, one of our first reviews said they couldn't wait to see Colette and Orion hook up. Um, which which we were like, that would be interesting. Let's write something to see what that looks like. So we wrote fan fiction of our own story. And then that became the Cetra.
This is a what if Orion and Colette we actually started like an AU where Orion and Colette got together, where two of the characters who it's very important that they are not together in the Legends of Corellia series never broke up. So if those two never broke up, if this happened and this happened, and Colette and Orion really worked out. So then we renamed them, gave them new personalities, and had a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
please enjoy our fan fiction.
Yeah.
So I mean, technically they are love interests in an alternate universe that then turned into a then turned into another book series.
They actually had surprising.
We can't hear you because you're turned away.
Trying to make my book stand up and they don't want to. That's all.
My little leaves keep falling down too.
I'm here for now. Figure it out. I'm reworking my bookshelf to fit a lot more books now.
Look, I don't want to talk about it because me too.
But I want to show off like this book, which was one of my favorites of last year. But I want to show off all our books.
There's, it's just really hard when books are so pretty.
Yeah. And I do tend to front display ones I really enjoyed. Because sometimes I'll go back to them. Like, I need these front displayed because I'm grabbing them all the time. Period. But like this book I've read several times. So it's easier just to grab it.
Okay. Well, since you guys referred to your books as like, TV seasons, I'll just get right to the question I normally ask like towards the end, which is if you had unlimited budget, you could pick anybody you wanted. Who would you want to play the main characters in the movie or TV show of Legends of Corellia?
We have this picked out already. Morgan, go ahead. Colette is.
So Colette would be Gemma Arterton because that's who she's modeled after. Everything from like her square jaw to how tall and broad-shouldered she is down to the freckles that she has.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm looking at who she is because I'm like, I don't know who that is. Okay. Yes. She's pretty.
Laurent has gone through a bit of a change as he redeveloped and things like that, and especially when we introduced his Nana and Papa. Have you ever watched Bridgerton?
Yes, of course.
Season 1.
Who in season 1?
The Duke, Renee, can't think of his full name.
Jean Page is who we use for his model right now.
Yes, I couldn't even think.
That is a handsome man. Oh, did you guys hear? Speaking of Bridgerton, they literally just renewed it for seasons 5 and 6 on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
We're thinking they're going to do better on costumes coming up because they've not been as good as they could have been.
Look, honestly, I just thought that the last season was a little rushed.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like they really rushed Colin and Penelope. And I'm like, y'all, we've been building up to this for years. Don't rush me.
I have a theory about it. If you did not have the first 2 seasons of the show, the third one would be much better.
Yes.
Because for its own thing, it's very well done. The theming is, done well. It just doesn't match the show that it's been up until that season. And that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. I could see where. Yeah. That's. I just was like, I was like, but I was like, I just love Colin and Penelope, and I've just been waiting for this for 3 years, and like,
And they
how
just,
young?
yeah,
I was like,
I
all
was,
right.
I
I
was a
think they
little
were
disappointed.
timid to approach the season, um, because some people unfairly have a very negative view of who our lead actress that season was, um, because she isn't, the conventionally attractive actress. But I thought she looked very lovely, and I thought that she has a lot of charisma, and so I didn't
Oh,
understand.
I
She is.
love her. She's
Hmm.
great. Like, I think she's beautiful. Like, I mean,
Yes.
like people, well, and like in the, I mean, in the books, she's not like, a conventionally like pretty girl either. Like that's kind of the whole point of like what it is. Like she's the girl who like people don't look at. So that's why she was able to be, spoiler, Lady Whistledown.
But in fairness, like people will read, hey, this female character is not conventionally attractive, and then be mad if a person who is not conventionally attractive in the Hollywood standards is cast in
Mm-hmm.
that role. I mean, look at the way that Emma Watson, for example, has been treated, since she was cast in the first Harry Potter all those years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is unfortunate, for Nicola, because I think she was treated really badly because of
Yeah.
those sort of standards and expectations.
One of the book series I really like. There's two main female characters. One of them is described as conventionally attractive, and everybody loves her. She could do no wrong. But the other one is not described as conventionally attractive. She's described as a little bit heavier, a little bit this. She is just as outspoken as the other female main character, but because in her art and her stuff, she's heavier. Oh, nobody likes her. Period. Nobody likes her. The book that
Yeah.
specifically was focused on her did not do half as well because of it. And it's upsetting because it's a very good book, and I prefer her to the conventionally attractive one.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's I just what did I read? I
Um.
read
Oh, sorry. I was
no.
gonna say, Morgan earlier today put apparently a 1-star review. There's a book got a 1-star review because the main female character was what, over 30?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
She was over 30?
yeah,
Yes.
they don't belong in romance novels, which means Sabine's gonna age out in like what, 2 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cause what?
I know. I know. I know.
People, I don't know. Like I've read a lot of books in my 30 years of life. Most of the time that the time that I could read, so maybe not a full 30 years, obviously, because I couldn't read when I was coming out the womb, obviously.
Mhm.
You don't
I mean,
know. Mom could have been reading to you.
she could have been. It was the 90s, so I doubt it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But like I, I've read so many, but like when I first started out, like reading like the romance novels, like I remember reading one book. It was like a second chance romance, and like the God, I wish I could. I know the plot of the book so well, and like I couldn't tell you the name of it or who the author is, but like this, these single parents, like they have kids, obviously, and then the kids start dating each other. And so then they're like, oh, I want you to meet my dad. I want you to meet my mom. And then turns out when they meet each other, they actually were like in love with each other like 30 years. Like they're like fucking 40 years old now, like 40, 50 years old. Like they're older and they're like, oh, like this, she was the love of my life back before I met your mother and da 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 and all this other stuff. So like I was just like, people who were in their 30s and 40s is like, what is this? The 1600s where like if you're single at 30, you're a spinster? Like what? You're never going to get married? That's crazy. Like what why are we still thinking like that? It's so crazy
I
to me.
I got nothing. Well, I will admit I was a little worried about reading romance novels where women that were 40 were the main focus, because half the time they get divorced and they have to go find love right away. Period. Like they need that guy. I've read so many like that when I was younger. And I'm like, as a newly divorced parent, no. But I actually found a lot of really good ones where the minute the guy said I want a divorce, she went, yes, yes, go, let me be free. And they'll spend like 5 or 6 books where they're, okay, you're cute, but we're not doing this. And then finally they do that. And that I can
Yeah.
appreciate.
I
But to
mean,
go
yeah.
back to who else? Oh, but to go
No,
back
in
to
fact.
who else we cast,
Yeah.
Orion was originally Heath Ledger, but unfortunately, as we know, he's passed away. And again, Morgan's probably gonna have to give you the name of the actor because I'm bad at actually the names of the actors. But did you ever watch Snakes? Did you ever see Snakes and Songbirds, the new Hunger Games movie?
Mm-mm.
He played young President Snow, but I don't know his name. But he, in that movie, had kind of this curly, shaggy blonde hair that worked really well.
And
I'll
he's
look it
got
up. Don't worry.
that curl of a smirk sometimes that Orion gets. That's just like not evil, but at the same point, like I could do horrible things to you and you would never see me coming.
And that's
And
not a euphemism. That's really horrible things.
yeah, he
Damn, who
would.
is that? Excuse me.
Right? Um, and Tolan would be Jake Gyllenhaal from the Prince of
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. Thank you, from the Prince
Ah,
of Persia movie, which is exactly where Gemma came from. We were, yeah, the two of them in that movie.
we love Jake Gyllenhaal. Are we mad
Yes,
at him still about Spider-Man? Absolutely, but
yes.
we'll forgive him eventually.
One day.
That guy you're talking about is named Tom Blythe.
Thank you. Yes, and he's okay.
First of all, he is fine.
The
He
rumor
is.
the
Excuse
rumor
me.
is
How old are you?
I know, right? So the rumor is that because of the edits that made Snow look super good looking and super hot, when really people just wanted to thirst over the actor, is the reason why Sunrise on the Reaping is as traumatizing as it is. Apparently, for every like 100,000 people that liked that Snow edit, she unalived children.
Well, from what I understand, in that particular book that was adapted, it's very heavy on Snow's internal dialogue. So you don't have a chance to like think that what's going on is romantic or wonderful or anything because you know that he's not looking at Lucy as a love interest. He's looking at her like a possession that he wants to have. And it's all very selfish. So that didn't translate into the movie, which is where you got all of these sexy Snow edits.
Which we did not need. That man's not a good man.
Oh yeah, President Snow is not a good man. Like nowhere near it. He's 28, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. In case you're wondering, he's 28.
Good age.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, I just turned 30, so he is 100% in my age range.
I'm still laughing at the edits of all the women putting themselves in the corner because of Steve Irwin's young son. His son did the underwear.
Look, let me tell y'all about Robert Irwin. Look, how stressful for me was that?
Oh yeah,
So stressful. And like my friend, so she's how old is she? She's like I don't know. She's like close to 40, like my best friend is. And she was like, I remember when he was a kid, so I can't look at him like that. I said, well, I don't remember any of that. So I can look at this man like the hot man that he is because damn. And he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars. And I was like, well, now I have to watch Dancing with the Stars.
I
And I
didn't know
don't
who's. I keep forgetting that show's still on.
bro, it's been going on forever for like
And
my like feels like my whole life. I'm trying to see if this guy has been in any movies that I've seen. No, he hasn't been in
I
any
don't know.
movies that I've seen.
All these men are very good looking, but like show me someone that's better looking than Tom Ellis. Like there's not one. There's not
Girl,
one.
look,
Ron, by the way, is for Farron.
Tom
Yep,
Ellis is
Farron looks
period,
like Tom Ellis.
period,
Farron.
as he should.
Yeah.
I love Tom Ellis. That Lucifer stole my heart. Okay, just chef's kiss.
Okay,
Now,
so Lucifer, not only did it turn me on to Tom Ellis, but season 3 got me into Tom Welling.
Oh, I've always loved Tom Welling. Oh my God. I have a picture with him somewhere. I took a picture with him at a convention.
Me too. And
Oh my
then,
God.
so I was watching Lucifer for the first time. I saw that season. I fell in love with him. And I was like, I probably need to watch Smallville since I have now decided I'm a Welling fan. And so I was in like the second season of Smallville when I made the trip up to Columbus to go to GalaxyCon for the sole purpose of seeing Tom Welling and going
That's
to
fair.
Smallville nights. And it was worth it. It was worth it. He wears a very nice smelling cologne.
You
Look,
ready for this?
I'm listening.
Dedication. Morgan's. Oh, for Gray, who tells me who tells all the stories with me. Oh, and the whole Tom Welling thing.
As you should. Okay. As you should.
Book 2.
I
Now,
would.
this is not the dedications, but book 2. And all the Toms who will never know. By the way, I took our first book to a convention and got Tom to sign it for Morgan.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
And book 3. And Tom Welling for being a good sport about my book. 1 dedication.
I love that. That's my fave.
And Tom was just thrilled to sign the book too. He thought that was just the coolest thing. He was so absolutely amazing about it.
Dude, I really think that like celebrities just get like I don't think they think that people really think about them like in like a type of way where they would like imagine another character, like a character like them. And so when they're like, "Oh yeah, I wrote this character," and they're like they kind of look like you and they're like, "Me? Little
Well,
old Tom Welling?" Not that he's little because that man is ginormous.
Oh,
yes.
he's tall. Like I'm 5'11", and he
Yeah.
like we passed each other at a convention, and I think it was Nashville recently. And this man, he's this wide, like his shoulders are huge,
Girl, I
and he
know.
is super tall. And I'm just sitting here like,
Mm-hmm.
you lie about being 6'4". There's no way you were only 6'4".
Sir, you don't have to lie to
Oh,
us, okay? I'll believe you if you said you were 6'6", okay?
right?
I'd
Oh,
believe you.
book 4 does have a dedication for them as well. It's for the Toms, Welling, Ellis, and Payne collectively.
Oh, I love Tom Payne. Oh my gosh.
Met him too. He's super sweet. He is not tall.
No, he's definitely a little guy, but he's oh my God, he's so handsome. I loved him in Prodigal Son, and I freaking what am I watching right now? Law and Order Organized Crime. He has a part in the season what is it, season 4? So in season 3 into season 4, he's got like a part where he's like a drug dealing millionaire villain person, but he does like he's got his British accent, and I'm like, yes, this is everything I wanted. Makes me so happy. I was really sad when they canceled Prodigal Son because that was such a good show.
It
Yes.
was.
They
I want
canceled like, our slide games now.
I wanted them I wanted like how Netflix saved Lucifer, like that's what I wanted to happen with Prodigal Son. Eh, But no, they didn't. Nobody saved it, and I was like, "Why would you guys do this to me?"
That
I
channel gets a lot of really good shows and they don't promote it the way that they should. And so things get canceled well before they should. And
It was
it's
on
not right.
Fox,
Yep. Same with
dude.
Lucifer.
Fox cancels everything that's not a medical show.
Fox would have canceled The Pit.
The Pit is
Probably.
I was obsessed with The Pit while it was on in season, like the first season was coming out. I'm still obsessed with it, but
I heard it's
nothing
really
new's
good.
coming out. You should watch it. It takes place over like 17 hours and it is amazing.
Yeah, no,
They,
So like most medical shows, like here's a day in the life of, this is a like the whole season is one day, like one shift, and it goes hour by hour. So each episode is an hour, and it's great. Noah
I
That's a
Weil,
10.
like I have a Noah Weil crush now.
always loved him, the librarian and all that. Always loved him, but And they're in somebody was trying to say it's a continuation of ER because specifically of him, and that they want to get HBO in trouble for it. And everyone's like, this is not a continuation of ER. It's not even the same character.
Well, see, I've read that the original idea was to pick up with his ER character at a different hospital as a sort of spin-off, but they couldn't get the rights to do it, so they retooled the show. But I mean, it's a medical show, but it's kind of like saying that Grey's Anatomy and ER and The Resident are all the same show because they're
Yes.
not. They're all medical dramas, but they're very, very different in the characters and
Hmm.
locations and the formats. So.
Yeah.
And The Pit is the first medical show where I have nurse friends who work the ER who say they have trouble watching it because it's as real. They've actually gone through this. There's things they've shown flat out that actually happen in the ER.
Oh,
It's the first realistic one, that like really realistic one, that does focus on interpersonal drama, but
I'll have to watch it. It pops up. I was looking for something to watch earlier today, and I don't know what I settled on.
I would check it out. Like I was not interested in it, and then I kept seeing TikTok clips, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch it just so I can see this one scene because I need to know what character to side with. And
Hmm.
then I was in love with it. So
See, now that I've talked about it, my phone's gonna be like, when I get on TikTok later, it's gonna be like, oh, maybe you should see these clips of the pit and maybe you should watch it. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll probably watch it while I'm working tomorrow. Thanks. That'll be so fun for all of us.
well, I don't have that anymore, but everything on my TikTok lately is either upcoming Superman movie or Sinners. And I'm not complaining because Sinners was great.
I hear it's amazing. And also, I love me some Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, he
he
was.
does. I hear he's amazing in that. Morgan's seen it. I don't get to see it yet.
You should spoil it for you since you spoil all the books for me.
Oh,
My
hey,
sister told me that she went and saw it twice, like in one weekend. She was like, it was so good. And I mean, there's two.
Everything about it is wonderful. Like I have a degree in history, so like that's one of the things about it that I like is how accurate it is to somebody living in the South in the
Hmm.
1930s. You have the jazz music that was, really popular at the time. And there's an Irish character, won't say who, but there's a lot of old Irish music in there as well. And it's just a beautiful movie. It's so smart. There are layers upon layers of things going on. Like you have to see it multiple times to catch everything. It's just great.
I mean, Ryan Coogler as like a director, producer, he's amazing.
Hmm.
Like, just literally right before we got on here, because he's doing the Ironheart series for Marvel, and literally the
dropped.
preview for it just came out, like literally just dropped today, and it looks so good. And I'm just like, gosh, Ryan Coogler, why are you so awesome? Like, and then I like, of course, I had to do like a deep dive on it because, like, once you like, oh, he did this movie, and I know that he did Black Panther, and he did this, and he did that. So I'm like, okay. And then come to find out, he also did Fruitvale Station, the movie that ripped my heart out that I can never watch again. That also starred Michael B. Jordan. And I
Yep.
was like, oh, so are you and Michael B. Jordan like besties? Because
Or
like you like direct a lot of movies that he's in, and like that's awesome because you just get to hang out with Michael B. Jordan all the time. And like that's what I want to do in my free time. I'd
But
have babies for Michael B. Jordan. I would.
that's good
I
looking.
yeah.
And he is talented.
He is. He's so good. Like I don't know. My friends used to make fun of me when I used to do like this nerdy podcast with my friends, and um it was when I had like, what was I watching? I had watched something with Michael B. Jordan in it. And of course, he always is dying in some movie. And so, like, literally, I was like, I just can't watch Michael B. Jordan die anymore. It's so sad. Like, he died in Fruitvale Station. He dies in fucking Black Panther. Like, why do they keep killing my man? Why are y'all doing this to me?
Because he does a good death scene. That's why.
He does do a good death scene, but it's just so heartbreaking every time. I'm like, Michael, I'm sorry. I take that very personally. I take that personally when they kill
Well,
my
I'll
man
tell you,
off.
he plays twins in Sinners,
I
and like
know.
same actor, but if the screen is only focused on one of the characters, without him speaking who the character is. That's
Hmm.
how good he is. Like the mannerisms, the way he talks, like the way he holds his hands, it's different from each character and it's so distinct. I was just super impressed with it.
Oh, I'll definitely have to go see it then.
Good.
I'll definitely have to go see it because I really did want to go see it, and I was like, I gotta support my man, obviously. But like then I read it was like kind of like what horror-y, thrillery, and I'm not a big horror girly. I'm a fraidy cat.
So it's not horror in like Freddy Krueger's horror.
Okay,
Um, and the horror elements that are in there are like this is not a spoiler because I've said it. Like vampires are in it, but it's not about vampires. The
got you,
vampires represent a bigger theme.
got you.
My son had to come say hi.
Oh, so Kate, you were talking about how you have the Princess Bride like books, and excuse my house, it's a mess. As I turn so you can see that I have Chris Evans pillows,
Yeah,
but
I see it.
also, I'm gonna have to unblur my background so you can see that I have a Princess Bride movie poster.
I love that.
Very cool.
Yes. Also,
Or color.
you can see all my
And
Chris Evans pillows. They're so fun.
I do like those.
Thank you. I would like to point out that I would like to point out, like I point out to everyone, that I did not buy them for myself. Other people bought them for me.
It's a way to
No
go.
judgment from me. I have a wall of Ariel in my bedroom. I can't say anything about anybody.
I literally above my fireplace right here is just like a wall of Captain America. Like the Shield, Chris Evans is Captain America, cartoon Captain America. Like it's all Captain America over there.
You and Kate won't get along. She went on this whole rant about Captain America this week, and I agreed with her, but
How
Okay,
dare you?
look, I Chris Evans is great, but
Yes.
but the end of Endgame ruined his character for me. He abandoned, unless that is a different timeline, he abandoned Bucky. He ruined Peggy. It should have been him and not
It
Peggy.
is. So look, okay, look. So this is what I have learned from not what because I can't follow nothing. I can't follow shit, okay? I'm here for the action sequences and like that's mostly about it. Like and kind of the story a little bit. Like with the parts that I can follow, absolutely. I am not a dig deeper girly, okay? I take
okay.
most things at face value.
Okay, but here's the thing. His Steve Rogers went back to the 40s
Hmm.
from, whatever year Endgame takes place in.
Hmm.
And he knew all of the bad stuff in 1940, whatever, that was
Hmm.
going to come forward. And he didn't call nobody. He didn't tell nobody anything. He just sat in his house and said, yeah, we're going to let Thanos come back and snap.
So
That's
that
yeah.
So what I learned, because I had a thing where I was like, so Captain America just made out with his niece? That's crazy. Because like if he went back and married Peggy, then that means that Sharon, like I was like, wait, and someone was like, no, when he went back and married Peggy, it branched off into a whole other timeline.
That's the thing though. That's still the thing though. That means he's still at the end of our movie, which means our timeline is now screwy, which is what they were trying to supposedly prevent in the first place. But even then,
But they still
this is
beat
what
Thanos.
How was
this is
old Steve at the end of the movie if it was a new timeline? It wasn't.
yeah, this is what gets me, and this is why I'm so ticked off. In Captain America Civil War, he drops basically he's doing all of this to save Bucky. No matter what you want to say, he's doing it to save Bucky.
Oh, I know.
So then if he goes back in time, the first thing he should have done is gone and gotten Bucky. I
He
mean,
knew
does that
Bucky would
change
be
a lot?
okay.
Yes, but he should have gone and
Look, girl.
Want them to go get Bucky.
Look, girl. I understand. I understand the frustrations, okay? I get it.
That's
I
my
still
rant.
love I still love my man.
Oh
That's
no,
my guy.
it's good. Love him, please love him.
I
But I'm
love
still,
him.
if I could get my hands on him, I would shake him and
It's
scream for
okay.
5 minutes about saving Bucky, and then we'd be fine again.
I
I
just
get
want to
that.
point out that my man Thor is still Thoring.
My man Tony's dead,
R.I.P. Tony.
and
And
now
now
it's
he's
Tony,
coming back as Doctor Doom.
which is going to be really interesting because I'm interested in seeing that. But back on Princess Bride thing, just really quick, if you
Mhm.
want a really good comp for our series, as you wish, tell me something.
Ooh.
That is exactly what the love interest said. He looks at her directly and tells her, "Tell me something." Anything. It could be anything she wants to tell him. No pressure, no anything. I love you. I'm paying attention to you. You matter to me. Tell me whatever you want to right now.
Sorry, I'm crying. Excuse me.
That's if anyone ever wants a comp. Yeah. Now, is it does it get as silly as the Princess Bride book? No. But
First
does
of
Lorette
all,
have a great sense of humor? Yes.
how iconic is the Princess Bride, okay?
Well,
Yes.
I think I would say that it is. One of the things that we've talked about in the past is that we grew up reading things and watching things like The Princess Bride, like The Mummy, for example.
Oh, love the
Um,
mummy.
these like Pirates of the Caribbean, these stories that have a lot of humor, that have a lot of really great action and magic. And it's got these relationships, not just the romantic ones, but like just in general, these great relationships with fully fledged characters.
Mhm.
Um, and so those are the things that sort of inform the stories that we write because those are the stories we like. And so naturally, when you are, in such awe of things like the Princess Bride, we have to have our Princess Bride line. Like that had
Mhm.
to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Look, the amount of times in my normal life I'm quoting a movie is crazy.
Mhm.
Like I'm always quoting something. And it's honestly really hard for me because I have older friends who like will get my references, but like they'll get like my older references, but they don't get like my SpongeBob references. And I'm like, this is tragic. I need you to understand my SpongeBob and my Danny Phantom references and like all of these things, and you're not understanding it. But then also on the other hand, I have these younger friends who are like 23 and 24, and I'm like quoting like The Princess Bride or like some Jim Carrey movie or like something to that effect, like something very 90s, early 2s. And they're like, "What's that from?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like I have a friend who's never seen like Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail or like When Harry Met Sally, and I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing?" But then I have to
I,
remember she's 25.
I have friends who've never been traumatized by Watership Down.
I've never watched it, but I've seen clips, and you're never going to get me to watch it.
I've never even heard of that. So honestly,
Don't do it. Like this was
okay.
this was back in the 80s when parents thought, "Oh, it's animated. It's fine." I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have never looked at rabbits again.
Oh, like The Land Before Time.
It's
Oh no.
worse. These bunnies are unaliving each other, and there's blood everywhere.
It's not just that. Like it's humans unaliving them too. Like there's an entire like 10-minute scene of what happened to the poor bunnies that their land got developed. It's as cartoon graphic as they could get. Like this was bad. But then again, like I said, my mom and my dad thought, "Oh, it's cartoon, it's fine." So I also got to watch like heavy metal and rock and roll and other movies that I sit and watch now going, I don't need to wonder what's wrong with me.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know what's crazy is my parents were a little bit more strict about what I watched, but then they're like, "Here, you can read The Godfather when you're 11." And like the book goes into more detail than the movie does. And if you've never read The Godfather, there's this whole subplot about the bridesmaid that Sonny has sex with at the wedding. There's a whole subplot about how her vagina is too big. And so, like, she can't have good sex because nobody is big enough except for Sonny. And then she starts like, and this is in the book, I swear. And then she starts dating a guy who's a surgeon who can fix it. And that's like her whole plot.
What? What? That um
And I'm serious. I was sitting there at 7 years old going,
It works. Why not? Some of the stuff we read, I swear to goodness.
honestly. Some of the stuff that like we read and we saw when we read and we saw as kids, now watching it as an adult, I'm like, y'all let me watch that? That's crazy. What do you mean?
I got to watch my mom put on heavy metal thinking it was something for kids, and she walked out of the room. Walks back in like 30 minutes later, going, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "You put this on," and she's like,
You told me to watch it.
"Oh," or the fact that, as far as we were aware, any movie under the TV we were allowed to watch. That was the rule.
Mhm.
So we picked the one with the lips on it. My mom hears Time Warp, but doesn't register.
mm-hmm.
And then it gets to "I'll Make You a Man," and this woman is sliding across the linoleum because she knows what's coming next to turn this off.
Oh God.
Like
You
the
watched
amount.
late Did you have to watch late 90s wrestling? Because everybody, like every kid I knew, got to watch late 90s wrestling, but then their parents would be like, you can't watch Disney because there's magic in that. Bad. But we'll all tune in and watch Raw's War with Degeneration X, like crotch chop.
Oh yeah, bruh. Look.
We went, so growing up in the 80s and 90s, up I think we stopped about Stone Cold Steve Austin is when my mom was like, "Here, no more."
I love me some Stone Cold.
But we watched the Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Owen, and all them, all those fun people. And like that was, we could watch that, but we couldn't watch The Simpsons or Married with Children.
Look, honestly, my mom, when like when the Harry Potter movies came out, she was like, "You can't watch those," and I was like, "I didn't want to watch them anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you want it, if I could or couldn't watch them." Because like the book, because you know the books came out obviously, and then the movies came out, and I was watching it one day, and my babysitter just like had it on, and like I told my mom, I was like, "Oh, like we were watching Harry Potter, blah blah blah," and she was like, "You're not allowed to watch that. Why? It's witchcraft." Okay, let's take it. And as a kid, I'm like, okay, whatever. But as I'm taking a step back as an adult, I'm like, you literally used to let me watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
Darned.
You let me watch Hocus Pocus. So like,
I,
what?
I know a number of people who were like, we let our kids watch all the Disney movies, which I'm a Disney fanatic, so I understand that. But like every Disney movie has like a 16-year-old princess hooking up with her 30-year-old prince and lots of lots of magic and
Yeah,
like talking animals and all kinds of stuff. Um, but Harry Potter was the problem because there was witchcraft in it.
that was the line.
My favorite thing, my favorite thing. I don't know if you guys have read Golden Compass, and the that series.
Mm-mm.
Um, Came out about the similar time. And the author says that they are very lucky that Harry Potter came out at the same time, or their books would have been on the banned book list because Harry Potter's about magic and therefore it's evil. Theirs is about killing God. Let's go. Mortal, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's the basic thing is, yeah. Your soul's outside your body, it's connected to you with an animal. It can only be,
Hmm.
yeah. And but it's about killing God. The theme is kids, and they're like, if it hadn't been for Harry Potter, I'd have been done.
Dude. And then my mom, like, when Twilight came out, like, she bought me Twilight for Christmas. So, like, where was our line here? Is the question.
I'm never There's an author who did an event where if so many indie books were sold across the board, and it was, you didn't have to send in any proof of purchase. It was off the merit system. So he was trying to get everybody to buy as many indie books as he could. And if they bought a certain amount, he would not only he would read all the Twilight books. When he got to Renee's Macaroni, that's what they call it, Renee's Macaroni, or the Loch Ness Monster. The only video we got was, did he imprint on the baby? And that was it. That was the only thing we got. Like, the absolute horror in that man's eyes might be one of my favorite things for Twilight now.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I did my senior thesis on masculinity in Twilight.
I love that for you. What grade did you get on it? I hope you got an A.
I got an A.
Period.
But yeah, that was part of the thesis, but the larger thesis was like how is masculinity portrayed in vampire fiction, starting with Anne Rice going forward. And Twilight at the time was like the newest vampire thing. So there was lots to say about it.
Understand.
I avoided Twilight till the movies came out, and then I ran out of books to read, and my ex bought me the first Twilight book. And I was bored, so I read it, and then I needed to read the rest to see how bad the train wreck got. It got so much worse.
You guys, how dare you? How dare you?
It's a good story wrapped in too much prose.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but when Twilight came out, what grade was I in? I was in like middle school-ish times. I think I was in middle school.
I was either in the last part of high school or the first part of college because I stayed up my whole sophomore year of college reading all of them over a 3-night period.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely did the same thing.
I had a child when I read that, so anytime after like 2007.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so it was published in 2015. So in 2015, I was in high school actually. That's crazy. So I was in high school when like these books came out. And so my mom bought me the first book, and I like over Christmas when we were on Christmas break, she bought it for me for Christmas because, as a reader, they're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" A book, obviously. What do you mean?
Wait, are we you said they came out in 2015? Are you sure?
Okay, wait, no. I might be lying. Hang on, wait. I might be a liar. Hang on.
No, I thought it's like I think they're older than that.
Hang on, wait. I could be lying. Bing could be lying to me. Bing, how dare you?
Google says it came out, let's see, in 2005.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, September 26th. Yep.
Because I was going to say, I think that did closer to the movies came out before that, even 2009.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those books are a bit. Yeah.
Actually, that would make sense. That is okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm here. I've arrived. Yeah, because 2015 doesn't make sense because I was already out of high school. So yeah, that makes sense because I was going into middle school, and I remember like getting the book for like the Twilight book for Christmas, and like I read like that was all I like after I opened it on Christmas, I didn't talk to nobody. Like I was reading that book, like y'all couldn't get me away from it. And then I like stayed up all night to read it. Like I read that book in like a day and a half. Like there was no sleeping to be had. And then of course like books cost money, and I was in high school at the time and I didn't have a job, so I wasn't about to make my parents buy me like all the rest of these books. So I was just like borrowing them from all of my friends. And then the movies would come out in November, which November is Jonna's birthday.
Very
So
cool.
my mom, being the cool mom that she is, would get me the midnight release passes for my birthday every year. It's like you knew the way to my heart. But I loved the books because like I mean, when I was that was literature, okay? Like you couldn't tell me shit. Okay? I was a Twilight girly, a Twihard. I still am. Can I reflect back on the book and be like, wasn't like the best writing. Maybe it wasn't the best plot. Maybe not. But it was so iconic and so like it was just everything to me. And it was something that I could really bond with my friends over, you know? So
Hmm.
like it just holds a special place in my heart, you know, for like for sentimental reasons because it was really important to me when I was in middle school, high school time.
It's like
38-year-old Morgan like still likes Twilight, but every time I read it, I get mad at Bella because I'm like, you can love this boy and hold him accountable when he messes up.
For
Like,
real.
let's do a little bit of that, and I will be on your side.
See, yeah, see, that's you reflecting like as like an adult reading it. You're like, girl, what are you doing? Like this is toxic. This is red flags 101. What are you talking about?
He's like, I'm not gonna let you see your friend to the point I'm gonna take the engine out of your truck. And you're mad at me, but you're not gonna do anything about it, so it's okay.
Right.
it's like my favorite book is 10th Kingdom, right?
Hmm.
I read it now though sometimes and I'm like, Virginia, why are you an idiot? Virginia, why are you an idiot? Marry the boy. Just marry the boy.
And honestly, I think that's such a problem that I have with like books now is like if I'm reading it and the female main character is like if she's not being smart and she's just like
Mhm.
being I'm like I can't I'm like I have to stop reading this because there's no reason for you to be acting like this. Like you're 30 like you're 25, 30 years old. Like stop being stupid.
There's a
There's a
level of stupid I can go with because
Hmm.
sometimes, but then there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, you've literally just jumped the shark. We're done now.
But
Literally.
like there's a tendency even today where there are some books that come out and for whatever reason the female main character cannot get it together. Like she's always frustrated and flustered and anxious and bumbling and it's like this is so off-putting that I cannot read anything else in this book even if
Hmm.
the premise is really good.
Yeah.
And that's not to say like our female main characters aren't perfect. Like are perfect. Like Colette struggles
Hmm.
in Legends of
But like you
Crows.
believe she could tie her shoe if she needed to.
Yeah. And when she makes her decision, when she's taken the time to mourn what happened and deal with it, she then moves forward and just goes.
Right.
Some of these characters, they can't make that decision. Like,
Hmm.
there's a popular book series that I tried to read that I was like, first off, what's the plot? The plot has literally changed throughout the first three books, and she is not better. She is better. But for the first three books, they added more bad guys, switched the plot, and she's basically like the all-powerful goddess. And there's still two more books to go, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, no, that seems like too much. I don't. Yeah. No, and I've even DNF'd like us like I was in a book club where we were reading we were reading Fourth Wing.
Mhm.
And I read so I hi, what's up? Sorry, that was one of my cats who rubbed up against my leg. Um, I read Fourth Wing and I read Iron Flame. And after Iron Flame, I was like, I think I'm done with this. Like, I couldn't see how she was gonna get it going for three because it's supposed to be a 5 book series, and
Mhm.
she's gonna. I was like, she's gonna like spread this out over 5 books, and now our male main character is like going through a thing that's like complete. No, I was like, I don't like this, and it put me in such a bad book slump after I read it. Like, I probably didn't read a book for like 2 or 3 months because I just I could not get in the headspace to read a book because and so much trauma happened in that second book, man. Everybody was dying, and I was like, what's going on? Why y'all doing this to me? I don't got time. Like I'm at work
People,
listening to it sobbing, like just my coworker's like, what's the matter? I was like, it's just you know. So
Mhm.
so I'm not I and everyone's like, but it's so good. And I'm like, I can say that it's good. Like objectively, yes, it's good. But it's just not something that I can see myself continuing. And so if people want to spoil it for me, do it. I
I
don't care
wish I
because I'm
could
not
read
gonna
it, but that one spoiled it for me.
I didn't read that one. I haven't read
You
Fourth Wing.
spoiled one of them.
ACOTAR.
You did that one too,
Oh
like
hell, I
in
can't read
detail.
Akatar.
I have not read Fourth Wing or any of those because I tried the first couple chapters and there was just something I couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was just my mindset at the moment, but I could not get past like the first 10 chapters of Fourth Wing.
I get that.
There's something about it.
Mm.
No, I spoiled the hell out of ACOTAR, and I don't think I'm gonna actually be reading any more of those after the last Crescent City book.
Yeah, my a lot of my friends are like, the first book is so hard to get into, and I was like, if you can't get me into the first book, you're not gonna get me into the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Crescent City. The I went in. I have a friend who Sarah J. Maas is the beginning and end of the universe,
Ah,
and so I was like, all right, I will give it a try. I have no idea how anybody who didn't already have books 2 and 3 in the ACOTAR series got through book 1.
A lot, like in series, though, a lot of book ones are like that. They're very world building, and it feels like a lot of nothing is happening a lot of the time. And the character setups are like, and this is not her, I've never read them because someone spoiled them for me. Um, but like a lot of series book ones are not the best ones. They have to set up everything so that
yeah,
everything else in the series can be good. And that's my opinion on literally every series that I've ever read.
And
I get
that's
that.
and that is 100% true. You have to set things up,
Hmm.
but the main male character is such a big problem. And
Hmm.
the thing that I flagged that I could see a younger person not flagging made it really hard to get through it. Now, Throne of Glass was easier to get into and easier to go through, and that one also the narrators were really good for Throne of Glass. The narrators were really good. That one I was able to go, and by the end of the series, I'm sobbing.
I think I
Like
tried to listen to that, but I couldn't get into it.
it, admittedly, it book 1 is good, but again, the world building.
Right.
Book 2 adds even more to the world building, but by book 3, it's just you go. You realize they're going to connect the dots. But Sarah J. Maas has a thing about the last 200 pages being the best part.
Nah, if you can't get me in the first like 2, 3 chapters, and I can't do it. Like and that's what that makes me so upset when I'm like when I buy a book and then I like can't get into it. I'm like,
Well, I had that experience when I was reading Lonesome Dove. It took me several attempts to read Lonesome Dove because the first 100 pages feel like nothing's happening other than two old cowboys are bullshitting each other. And then like they accuse some Mexicans of stealing their cows because they live somewhere in Texas along the border. And so they go across the border to steal the cows back. And then you find out, well, they originally stole those cows from the same people they stole them from or something. And it's just like, this is what the first 100 pages is. And then you get past that, and it's literally one of the best books that you just have to get back, away from this first hundred. Where here's this group of Mexicans that we stole stuff from, and they stole it back, and then we stole it back, and it's
Yep.
okay. You know, I don't. I've I saw TikTok or I saw some video the other day, and it was like it's okay to not finish a book if you don't like it. And I
yeah.
was like, because I used to feel so bad when I would like DNF a book, because I'd be like, no, but like I just feel like it might get really good. It might get really good. And some books I have power. Like the book that I just read for a book club last month, not this month. My one that I read last month. It was, and when I tell y'all, I had to power through that bad boy. I mean, like I was crying at the end of it just because it was over. I was like, thank
Mhm.
God, this shit's over. Because what the fuck was that? It was an
I,
8 hour listen, and it took me like 2 weeks to listen to it because every time I would go to listen to it, I'm like, why are y'all doing this to me? I don't want to.
I had to learn to that it was okay too as well. Because I used to power through a book period, and I don't have time for books that aren't I don't. I have limited time in my day where I can actively listen to a book if I'm not feeling, because a lot of times I do Audible a lot
Hmm.
because I can listen to it while I work. And there's just been a couple books where I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah. And a bad narrator will take me out of a book real quick.
I will always listen to a sample first before I buy it because I can tell you normally during the sample if I'm going to like it or not.
Is that the fourth book in Legends of Corellia is out now. The
Mm-hmm.
Marks Queen is out now. The first book in the Visetra series called Choice of a Duchess will be out August 16th of this year. We're very
Mm-hmm.
excited for those.
Very.
Morgan and Kate, please tell everyone where to find you and on the socials.
All right,
I'm
Kate.
I'm mostly on TikTok. You'll find some stuff on Threads, which gets really random, and I sometimes post on Instagram, but Instagram's never done it for me. So you can find
Got you.
me as Kate Jenkins Writes on TikTok most of the
Got you.
time, and same on Threads.
Got you.
And I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, Pink Sky, um, Insta, and TikTok as at Morgan Moreau Writes.
What's Pink Sky?
It is the Instagram equivalent of Blue Sky's network. It's an
Oh,
alternative to Instagram.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I found it one day when Blue Sky was advertising. So if you put anything that's media based on your Blue Sky, it automatically uploads to Pink Sky.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Well, this episode of Booking It with Jonna brought to you by Legends of Corellia and Visetra, and also all the books and movies. Um, in Bridgerton, and not that they pay me for this, but Four Horsemen Publications. And if you've made it this far, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe and like my channel. And you can find Kate and Morgan um on the socials. I will link their website in the description. And I think that's all I got. Thank you, Kate and Morgan, for being on Booking It with me. I had so much fun talking to you guys.
Book
Last
fun.
book in Corellia coming out
Sometime next year. Book five
next year.
comes out in December and then probably around May, I would assume,
Okay.
for book six.
So is are all of the Visetra books going to come out before the last Corellia book?
Yes,
Yes.
they're being rapid released. So book one comes out August, book two comes out September, and book three comes out in October.
Gosh,
Too.
you guys are just taking all of the fall, huh?
Yeah,
And then
we wrote 5 books last year, so
yeah,
Goodness. Yeah, that's amazing. I could never.
it's 2 people. So
I know. How is that? I guess how is that writing with another person? Do you guys only write books together or do you write books separately?
right now we only write books together.
Got you.
see Morgan
Besties.
totally by storm though with her ideas.
Hey, we love we love women in power, okay?
That's right.
All right. Thanks for being on the show, guys. I highly appreciate you being here.
And we'd love to
Okay.
do it again. You were great to talk to.
Oh, thank you. I try and be fun.